You are listening to Three Kitchens podcast, hosted by Heather Dyer and Erin Walker. To find our complete catalog of episodes, check out any of your favorite podcast players.
Or our website, threekitchenspodcast.com. Welcome to Three Kitchens Podcast. We are your hosts. My name is Heather Dyer, and here's Erin Walker.
Hello, I am here.
Hello. We're here, and we're excited. This is our second recording of this day, so we are like in the groove.
And this is the one I get to be all giddy and excited about somebody cooking for me.
I'm cooking. I'm cooking. And for this episode, we are doing a traditional Canadian recipe. I feel like, how is it we have not done more Canadian food since we're Canadian and all?
Well, before you get into it, that's kind of an interesting question, this Canadian food thing, because we have such a diverse, multicultural immigrant history. And then there's Indigenous food and culture, because this one tops my list, I think.
Tops it because you like it the most, or tops it because it feels the most sort of authentically Canadian or something?
It feels super Canadian because it definitely is in my family and my family history going back. So I think I relate to it as a Canadian food, maybe. We'll
Yeah,
have to see.
me too. It is definitely something I grew up eating, and I have a recipe that my mom handed to me. Um, but it is originally, I mean, you can tell by the, have I even said what I'm making or no? Oh my God, so ridiculous. So we're how many minutes in? Sorry, everyone. We're making a tourtière. Um, and what I was going to say is, it's interesting that it is part of probably every Canadian across the country's sort of tradition because it's a French Canadian dish.
Yeah.
And for those listening who maybe don't know us, we are not French. Erin or I, nor I, are French Canadian. But we love this dish, and probably many Canadians across the country also love a tourtière.
Yeah. I have French Canadian, my mother's family grew up in Quebec,
Oh,
in Montreal. And so
oh,
maybe that's why
okay.
it adopted into my line of cooking.
Hmm. And here I thought, is it your grandfather's family? Because why did I
Nobody,
think that your Oma was your mom's mom?
she is, yeah.
Oh,
They just grew up there. My mom just grew up there, but they are from Germany. But they
yeah, yeah.
had family that lived in Quebec when they immigrated, and in the 50s. And so they adopted some of the cooking
Okay.
from probably the family that was already here. And so it's an interesting cross between the German and then the French and the
Okay.
Canadian.
Okay. I got it. And I mean, yeah. Okay.
What's your
Okay.
family tree look like, Heather?
Let's not go down that. I'm not even familiar enough in great detail to really get into that. But anyway,
You haven't hit the age of family tree history.
I would have to take it on myself, and I'm not that
Oh,
old yet.
oh, okay.
I think you need to be maybe in another decade or so
Okay.
when
Okay.
I'm retired and have nothing better to do. Okay.
Okay.
Uh, so the tourtière has a long history in, well, when I say long, Canada itself as a country, it does not really have a long history. So it's all relative to Canadian history, but it was thought to have originated sometime around the 1600s in obviously Eastern Canada. If for those who aren't familiar, the French French language immigrants typically settled in the East. That's where people came from first, from France.
Hmm.
And in both Quebec, in what is now Quebec and the Maritime provinces. And it was recipes for tourtière were first printed in a cookbook called La Cuisinière Canadienne, which was published in 1840. And it is thought to be the
Cool.
first French language cookbook published in Canada. So really, that's what I mean by it's all relative, because 1840 in the
Hmm.
history of the world, it's not that long ago, really. But anyway, okay, so it is a meat pie, and many cultures around the world have their versions of meat pie. The French Canadian meat pie typically has pork and then often mixed with something else. In the past, you would have found pheasant, rabbit, or moose. Probably there are still people who make it with game meat,
Very interesting. Okay.
or a mix of pork and beef, which was how I have always known it. You mix pork and beef together. It could be minced, which, from what I can tell, is a more Quebecois style, minced or ground meat, or cubed meat, which is more Acadian, which is a maritime French language
Yes.
group of people. Theirs is more traditionally cubed meat and vegetables. So the texture of it varies
Yeah.
somewhat. What typically is relatively common across the board are the spices that go into it. And this is how I think, what sort of sets a tortilla apart from other meat
Hmm.
pies. And those are usually nutmeg, cinnamon, clove, and allspice. Those are
Oh,
your
yes.
kind of your standard spices that go into this. So you're cooking your meat in these delicious warm spices. Then you're putting it into a pie, and it's a double crust pie. So there's a crust on the bottom and a crust on the top. And traditionally, it would have been a lard
Mm.
pastry because butter and oil would have been much more expensive.
Yeah.
Of course, nowadays, probably people make their pastry however they like to make their pastry, I imagine.
I feel
Yeah.
like the pastry has to be greasy and flaky in a tourtière. Like to me, that's part of the hallmarks of it. It's got to be it's got to be flaky and it's got to be there's got to be a good amount of butter or lard or short whatever you're going to use in there. It has to be a little bit extra.
Okay.
In
Okay.
my That's one of my thoughts when it comes to the tourtière.
Yeah. Typically, this is served or has been served traditionally in Quebec as part of the Christmas celebration. The Réveillon is a feast after midnight mass for French Canadian Catholics,
Oh,
and
okay.
that's when they would traditionally have prepared and eaten tourtière. I have always eaten it as a Christmas thing too, although I've been known to make it at other times of the year just because I love it and I want to eat it.
Of course.
But growing up, that's when we had it. It was on the plate, a slice of tortilla with the turkey and the potatoes and the whatever vegetable and gravy over everything. Like, that's how I like it. I don't know about you.
Oh, that sounds great.
Honestly, I didn't read anywhere where it said to serve gravy over it, so maybe that was my family just because we were eating it with turkey and you want to put gravy over everything.
Well, yeah.
I think it's maybe more common to have like a chow chow, like a tomato salsa type, it's
Mm.
called chow chow, or like a almost like a thick tomato relish, or even apparently ketchup. I can't imagine putting ketchup. Oh, do you? I'm like, I don't put ketchup on a lot of things, so I'm not that person, but that's how
I
you like it?
I was known to eat it with
Mm,
ketchup. Yes, I did enjoy it
okay.
with ketchup.
That's fine. You don't need to be. She's like, oh no.
Oh no, the judgment.
No, no, it's not judgment.
The
I'm just not a
Quebecois
big.
are gonna come at me, Heather.
No, you know what? That probably is a Quebecois thing to eat it with ketchup. And I'm just like, what? I put gravy on it. I love it with, I like it with gravy. But you know what? Eat your meat pie however you like.
Mm,
Just, you're gonna love this meat pie because it's just, it's so good. And the spices are so Christmassy to me.
yeah.
They say midwinter,
Mm.
cozy, warm meat pie.
They just make
I love it.
everything on your tongue happy. Is this just
Yeah,
happy mouth season?
yeah. And it's not like overly seasoned. It's a very sort of mild seasoned, like you taste those things, but it's not a smack you in the face kind of
True.
flavor. Yeah.
Oh, I'm really looking forward to A, eating something somebody's cooked, but also family cooking because it comes from your mom. So that's awesome.
Yeah, I don't know if I'll follow exactly the recipe from my mom, but they are
Don't worry,
the
I don't
one
expect you to.
the ones that I've seen are all very similar, I have
Mm,
to say. The difference I've been reading is whether you use mashed potato or grated potato. And that obviously would change the texture of the finished pie. I've always made it with grated potato,
okay.
but I've been reading recipes with mashed potato, which I think would also be good because it would be a different
I feel
texture
like
to it.
I feel like that crosses the line into shepherd's pie too closely.
But it's
But
mixed with the meat, not
I know
sitting on
it's
top of the meat.
I know.
Too,
I don't
I've never
know.
had it with mashed potato that I know of. Maybe I've eaten it and not realized it was,
Yeah.
I don't think, but
Hmm.
my sister-in-law makes it. Her mom, who is French Canadian with the heavy accent and all, comes at Christmas time and makes delicious tourtière. And you know what, I'd probably gobble it up so fast that I don't pay attention if it was mashed or grated potato. I'm just so happy that someone made it and I get to eat it.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I'll think on that. We'll see. And that's it. Stay tuned for second half where we enjoy ourselves tourtière Canadienne.
There we go.
And I continue to butcher my French pronunciations.
Have you noticed how I haven't said anything French? It's not a mistake.
Okay, let's talk about making tourtière
And then
because
can we talk about eating it too?
I was going to say because we really want to talk about eating it, I think.
Yes, indeed.
All right, so it's a little bit tricky, not the recipe, but the fact that I sort of took two recipes
Hmm.
and combined them, which for anybody at home who has a tendency to do that, or who's taken a recipe and like kind of modified it as they went, at the end of it, you go, what did I do?
Mm.
What did I do exactly? I'm going to try my best to explain. But just I do want everybody to know that you can play with it a little bit. The
Absolutely.
key thing for me personally is the spice. And
Okay.
I think you probably would agree that that's what makes it a tourtière meat
Oh,
pie as
yeah.
opposed to other meat pies. That's what kind of sets it apart. All right.
Okay, let's start with the crust.
All right. So for a pie crust, um, let's just quickly go through because I think most people probably have a pie crust they like to make. The thing with this, now I remember you mentioning in the first half that you thought it needed the fat. Like what,
Mm-hmm.
however you make it, it needs to be a good flaky
Mm-hmm.
fatty crust. So I used lard in this crust
Okay.
instead of
I
butter,
would
which is
say even if you have a favorite pie crust recipe, you're gonna want this pie crust
really.
recipe. Oh, Heather,
Ooh,
I feel
I
like I've
feel like
never
so
made a
proud.
good pie ever after eating this crust. I was like, this is like the best crust. Seriously. Seriously, everyone was like, "How come you don't make your crust like this, Mom? Your pies would be so good if your crust was like this." I was like, "I know. I've never
No
made a good
way.
crust."
Because you make great pie crust. So maybe
I
it's the
don't know.
lard. I did
This
tender
was
flake
amazing.
lard.
Okay.
Okay, 4 cups of flour,
Okay.
half a teaspoon of baking powder, quarter teaspoon of salt, a pound of chilled shortening or lard. I used straight up lard, 2 cups of ice water, and a, oh, no, 2 cups of ice water. So what you're gonna do there is mix this all together. So you're gonna mix your dry ingredients in a bowl, blend the shortening in with a pastry blender or your hands, if that's the way you prefer to do it, until you get pea-sized lumps. This is
Okay.
pretty basic pie pastry making process. Put a little well in the center, put 2 cups, well, 250 mils of ice water into the middle of that. And you're just going to mix it until it comes together as a dough. So you can use a spoon to kind of get it going, mix it together. And then kind of just form that into a ball or a mound of
Mm-hmm.
dough and let it rest in the bowl in the fridge covered for at least 10 minutes or up to 24 hours. So this is why I said we should probably do this first. So you just kind of forming it together into a dough, covering it up, putting it in the fridge until you're ready to use it.
And
Okay,
baking powder in it. Huh.
is that
My
unusual? I don't
my
know.
crust doesn't have baking powder in it. So
Oh,
interesting. I'm paying
yeah,
very close attention here, Heather. Even though I'm not sitting super close, you
because
have
that'll
my
help
attention.
with the earbuds
It's
getting
an old
closer to the
lady thing.
computer. Now I'm using this is the pie recipe from Eat Alberta First. Um, and
Oh,
this is the crust recipe from that book, from the Tourtière. And she uses shortening. I did the lard. I don't know the difference, if there's a difference. I know you can get vegetable shortening versus like lard, isn't lard? I
isn't
don't even know.
shortening the vegetable, lard is the animal?
That's what I
Is
thought.
usually the okay.
Yeah, I used the one that says pure lard. It's the tender flake one, if anybody cares to follow along with me. Okay, so for the
I got
filling, this is where I kind of combined the recipe from that book with the recipe that my mom passed down to me.
mm,
And this is where I came out. Okay, a pound of pork, a pound of beef. I'm making 2 pies here. Okay,
okay. Just to clarify, the crust recipe, was that for two crusts or
it's for 2 pies.
for two pies, two
Two pies,
bottoms, two
yes, two
tops?
bottoms, two tops. Oh my God,
Okay.
see, I told you it would get confused.
No, that's okay. Heather went and baked me my very own pie.
Yeah, I didn't want to do one
So,
pie and then split it between us. So I baked 2 full pies. And so that's where I get a little confused. But yes, this pie crust recipe is for 4 circles
okay.
to make 2 full pies.
Two full pies. Okay.
And as well as the filling. The filling
Okay.
is going to be for 2 full pies. That'll just keep it simple. If you're making one pie, don't bother. Make 2 pies.
You're not making one pie of this.
No,
Uh-uh.
make 2, put one in the freezer for later, and then you can thank me that you
Hmm.
went to the trouble because you'll want it again later.
Hmm.
All right, pound of pork, pound of beef, a medium onion, finely chopped, and 4 cloves of garlic minced. We're gonna brown that in the pan, drain off the fat, or most of it, and then add in, now you're gonna season it. So you're gonna add in about 3/4 cup of water just to loosen it up a bit. Half a teaspoon of pepper, half a teaspoon of cinnamon, quarter teaspoon each of cloves, nutmeg, and the summer savory.
Oh,
I
yes.
did buy that one, and this was a new edition that came from the book. Okay, and salt. I would say probably the half a teaspoon salt.
Okay.
Okay. Um, get that all kind of mixed so that the seasoning is, you can smell it, it's coming together a little bit, and then add in two medium potatoes, peeled and grated. And I threw in a medium carrot, which I also grated because I had one lone carrot sitting in the fridge, and I was like, I'm gonna toss that one in there. And actually, the way my mom made it, she also put celery into
Oh,
her, but I didn't in this case. I did carrot and potato. You're gonna let that simmer, and so that all the flavors combine, and then just taste. I mean, you're not gonna taste the kind of undercooked potato, but taste the meat, and then adjust your seasoning if you need to. You're not going for strong flavors. You're going for a nice blend of those like warm spices that are in there.
hmm.
I like a little heavy on the cinnamon and the nutmeg. I feel like those are the ones that should really come
Yeah.
through. But again, make it the way you like it. Okay, then turn off the heat, set that aside to cool a little bit while you get your pie crusts ready and in your pie plates.
Okay.
It's because you're making 4 rounds, you're going
Hmm.
to want to divide it into four, your dough into 4 pieces. And it's a little bit crumbly, it's a little bit, because you've kind of just formed it together. So now you're going to take it out on a floured surface and work it a little bit so that you can roll it out. But you don't want to
Okay.
work it too much. Anytime you've got fat
Hmm.
in your dough, you don't want to be completely smushing it all. Like you want to keep that a bit cold and just roll it out so
You
that it
want it to be
fits.
like layered in there. You don't want that butter totally evenly mixed in. You want it to look like a bit of a crumbly mess. Like, is this going to be a pie? And then it does turn into a pie. Kind of, it's always that feeling of like, am I on the right path here?
Yeah. It's not like a cookie dough or something that's nice and smooth and
No.
even and mixed. It's a bit crumbly, it's a bit lumpy. You can see the lumps of the lard in there. You want to roll it out until it will fit your pie plate. It's going to go in the bottom.
Hmm.
Then you're going to do a second one and have it ready to go. What I did was I did both pie plates. I put the bottom crusts in, and then put my filling, divided it into the 2 pies, and then I rolled out 2 top pieces and put those on top. Crimp it if you can. I used a fork kind of around the edge and kind of pinched it where I needed to. It's not perfect. You're not, well, maybe yours will be. Mine was not. And I don't think it needs to be. It's like, get it on there. Don't overwork it. Don't handle it too much with your fingers.
Hmm.
Vent it. Put a few little slits in the top with a knife to vent the pie. And I took a cookie cutter, a maple leaf cookie cutter with a little bit of scraps of pastry, and I put a maple leaf on the top of each one, and then beat an egg, mix a little dollop of milk into it, and do an egg wash over both pies. They go in the oven at 350 degrees Fahrenheit for about 45 minutes until they're nice and golden brown on the top. And that's your tourtière. I hope I didn't miss anything because it's so good. You just so it's so good.
This is just such a wonderful, wonderful meal. Like it has all the warm,
Mm.
cozy comfort. Mm. I really, really enjoyed this so much. And the crust was perfect with this. Like it had the flaky, uh,
Crispy.
yeah, like all that stuff. And I feel like, especially, like I get when we make a sweet pie, how often we're very, pretty and lattice, and you want to make it look. I feel like anything that's savory for a pie, the more haphazardly rustic it looks, the better I like that for that type of pie. Like if I'm making a chicken pot pie, it's almost like I want it to be ugly.
A tourtière is not a juicy, brothy, bubbly pie. Um, it's more, the filling is a little drier than some meat pies you might be familiar with.
Mm-hmm.
You can actually cut a slice out of it, and it's not
It doesn't just like
oozing out on your plate.
tumble, tumble.
Yeah, which I think is why I actually like gravy with it, because I like that a bit of like
Mm.
moisture of gravy over it. However, I did kind of a little bit after the fact, because I was not organized initially, I did make the green tomato chow chow
Mm.
that was recommended in the Eat Alberta First book to serve with this. So let me run through that real quick. It's like this recipe is to can a large number of jars of this stuff. I just made like 2 cups of it. So I reduced the amount of ingredients, which I will put into the recipe on the blog. For now, I'll just tell you that you're slicing up green tomatoes and onions. You're sweating them out with pickling salt for a little bit overnight, at least 2 hours, but preferably overnight, which is where I went, oh shoot, I did not plan ahead. Then you're going to add in brown sugar and white vinegar to cover everything up in a pot. And it says here, a package of pickling mix tied in cheesecloth. I don't know what pickling mix is, so I Googled it. And I basically made my own. Again, check the recipe for that. Tied it up in a little cheesecloth, and you put that bundle into the pot with it. And you simmer it down for, it says at least 2 hours, but you want it to be nice and like thick and caramelized and gooey, like a relish or a chutney kind of flavor.
Yep.
And that's it. So it's very it's almost like a pickle. If you're the person who likes that acidic pickle on your plate,
It's like relish.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't have any tourtière left for it to go with. Did you?
No, I did not either. But I did enjoy
this
little chow chow.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's a good little thing for the side. I don't know. That the tourtière, I don't even need like the kids will put like a ketchup on it or what have you.
Nope, you don't even need that.
Just as is. This had all the right balance of flavors. And I really liked the potato grated in there because I know we talked about like the mashed potato versus the grated potato. I thought that worked really good.
I like it too, although I've never made it with mashed. So maybe next time I'll have to try it out and then I can actually compare. But anyway, I'm sure it still tastes very much the same, just a different texture.
This is easier too, rather than having to make mashed potatoes, like just grating the potatoes in there.
Yeah, I mean, if you happen to have leftover mashed potatoes and you're making tourtière, maybe it's like your Boxing Day meal and you've got some mash from the day before. Maybe you could do it like that. I don't know. But anyways, you decide. Choose your own adventure with your potato and your tourtière. Just don't skip the seasoning because that's the important bit.
Yeah, I liked the balance in here for the spices. It was fantastic. Yeah, no, this was delightful, Heather. So good.
I'm so glad you liked it.
A good French Canadian recipe. And now for the fine print. Links to recipes and other things we talked about in this episode can be found in the show notes or on our website, www.threekitchenspodcast.com. Come say hello on Instagram, Facebook, Threads, YouTube, and TikTok. We'd love to connect. And if you enjoy the show, pass it on. Word of mouth is the #1 way people learn about new podcasts. Thank you so much for listening.